This episode of On the Record is brought to you by Associated Equipment Distributors. I'm Executive Editor Kim Schmidt. Welcome to On the Record. Here's an update on what's currently impacting the ag equipment industry. USDA Deputy Secretary Stephen Vaden came after farm equipment manufacturers during a webinar hosted by the National Ag Law Center last week, according to a report from AgWeb. Vaden said this administration thinks farmers should be able to repair their own equipment, and the industry's efforts to prevent them from doing so are illegal. He went on to say that that's why the FTC is currently suing John Deere and other manufacturers, saying it is to, quote, stand up for America's farmers' right to repair their own equipment and not have to suffer under a system where, when their equipment breaks down in the field, they have to call a John Deere dealer, for example, and wait for them to send someone to fix a simple issue that the farmer can repair him or herself, costing them time, productivity, and money. Vaden also said the Trump administration is looking into how manufacturers distribute and sell equipment. According to the report, they are calling into question dealers' geography assignments and trade territories. Vaden said, if you should happen to pick any other dealer than the one they designate as your local dealer, they'll charge you more for the same piece of equipment, the exact same piece of equipment. There's a financial penalty which is prohibitive to you exercising choice over which dealer you use to buy your equipment, eliminating the ability to compete on the basis of price. In late July 2025, Deere launched a digital tool designed to enhance how equipment owners use, maintain, diagnose, repair, and protect their equipment. Since the right to repair movement emerged over a decade ago, OEMs and dealers alike have maintained that they are not opposed to farmers repairing their own equipment, but they are against modifying equipment that could disable safety and emissions controls. We'll continue to monitor this latest development, and we'll have more coverage on farm-equipment.com. This week's dealers on the move are Green Valley Equipment and Enns Brothers. The Manitoba-based John Deere dealerships announced their intent to merge. Green Valley currently operates 4 locations, while Enns Brothers operates 9. The expected closing is April 2026. Now here's Noah Newman with the latest from the Technology Corner.
Thank you very much, Kim. Dealers let their guards down at the Precision Farming Dealer Summit earlier this month in St. Louis, talking about some of their biggest challenges and potential solutions in 2026. So Adam Gittens, president of Harlan, Iowa-based HTS Ag, moderated a roundtable discussion that centered on precision decisions on Rethink and why. And Gittens said just about everyone in the room agreed that businesses far too often forget about their bread and butter and venture too far outside of their wheelhouse.
In hindsight, we can all look back and see things that maybe we would have done differently or handled differently. And it's easier to look down and see how we've gotten so spread out in our own business with so many different products. And so for us, it was really having that focus and pulling back into our core competencies and being able to understand that some of these other things are just a distraction. They're not actually a benefit to our business. And really the takeaway from the whole session was that we've got to be accepting of change. Change is the one constant in our business. And so the things that we sold 20 years ago are not the things that we're selling today. The things that we're selling today might not be the things we're selling in the next 1, 2, or 5 years.
Gittens says one of his favorite things about those roundtable discussions is the high level of authenticity you get from dealers participating, willing to share not only their successes, but their failures as well. In the Technology Corner, I'm Noah Newman. Back to you, Kim.
Thanks, Noah. As of January 23rd, corn prices were $4.30, down 14 cents from our last episode. Soybeans closed at $10.67, up 11 cents, and wheat closed at $5.29, up 19 cents. Precision sales and service provided a silver lining for many farm equipment dealerships during a challenging 2025, according to the latest Precision Farming Dealer Benchmark study. Over 49% of dealers surveyed reported an increase in total precision sales and service revenue in 2025, compared to only 27% who reported an increase the year before. Nearly 36% said the revenue was up 2 to 7%, while almost 13% said it was up 8% or more. On the other side of the spectrum, about 26% of dealers reported a decline of at least 2% in total precision revenue in 2025, compared to 33% who reported a decline in 2024. Some 26% of dealers saw little or no change in their revenue in 2025. Looking ahead to 2026, several dealers are optimistic that precision revenues will improve by at least 2%, but many are still hedging their bets with a forecast of little or no change. Almost 19% predict revenue will decline by at least 2 to 7%. Digging deeper into the numbers, about 33% of dealers forecast new whole goods equipment sales and service revenue will be up 2 to 7%, while about 21% expected to drop at least 2% or more. About 44% forecast little or no change. The used whole goods equipment outlook is slightly less optimistic, with almost 59% predicting little or no change and only 21% predicting an increase of 2 to 7%. Almost 32% of dealers expect precision service revenue to increase 2 to 7%, while over half forecast little or no change. Almost half of the dealers surveyed forecast little or no change in parts revenue, while 36% are eyeing an increase of 2 to 7%. Look for the complete report in the February issue of Precision Farming Dealer. In our last episode, we shared details from the OEM panel during the Precision Farming Dealer Summit on what CNH, Kubota, and AGCO are looking forward to as it relates to autonomy in the ag equipment business. While much of PFDS focused on technology for row crops like corn and soybeans, there was some focus on high-value crops. One attendee asked the panel, "We've seen presentations about high-value crops and the focus and the data and precision they need and the amount of revenue those crops generate that we as dealers could capitalize on. What are each of you doing in that area to focus on helping us get that business?" Nathan Gruel, North American Product Marketing Manager for CNH, said entry-level telematics is a good entry point into high-value crops, being able to connect the machines and getting data back into the field ops ecosystem.
We do specifically work with a lot of high-value crop farmers and producers that are out there. We've got some things that are in the works, especially around, we'll call it Sense and Act, that leads more towards that autonomy space. And we'll get into autonomy, I think, here in a little bit too, but you got to be really good at automating tasks before you get to autonomy, and I've got a whole spiel on that coming up here. But I would say for sure, like things like entry-level telematics is something that we focused on with connectivity in this specific high-value crop area.
Joe Michaels, Senior Director of Kubota North America Product Portfolios, noted Kubota's investments over the last 5 years and at the Consumer Electronics Show this month, where for the third year in a row the OEM's focus was on specialty crops, which he noted as an opportunity for Kubota and an area of focus.
That's why we have invested in it. I think you've seen the acquisition a little over a year ago for Bloomfield Robotics, which has the sensing devices for vineyards, orchards.
Jake Riddendor, Channel Sales Management with AGCO PTx Trimble, echoed much of what Michaels and Gruel said, adding that AGCO is taking parts of what it currently has and delivering it as a strategy into that specialty crop market.
Again, cover Western U.S. And Western Canada. So I've been pushing a lot of that over the last year. The autonomy project that AGCO Outrun is also entering into that space as we will start working towards the specialty crop and orchard market with autonomy. And then specifically to your question, Stephanie, it would be spot spray technology as well as path planning in order to have a semi-autonomous solution in those locations.
Look for additional coverage from this panel and other sessions on precisionfarmingdealer.com. This week's DataPoint is brought to you by the Dealership Mind Summit, coming to Springfield, Illinois, August 4th and 5th. After seeing corn planter sizes grow from 2023 to 2024, the trend flipped in 2025, according to the latest No-Till Farmer benchmark study. While the percentage of those with 16-row planters remained roughly the same at 30.4%. Those running 24-row planters fell 4.4 points to 13.8%. And those using 12-row planters grew 8.9 points to 32.6%. The full benchmark report will be available from No-Till Farmer in February. As always, we welcome your feedback. You can send comments and story suggestions to kschmidt@lestermedia.com. We'll be coming to you next time from the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. Until next time, I'm Kim Schmidt. Thanks for joining us.